And good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. And I hope you had, pardon me, hope you had an absolutely fantastic Thanksgiving weekend. My wife and I really had a great time visiting with family. Lots of great food, of course. So, anyway, it's great to have you back. We have begun a series on the eschatology of the parables as it relates to martyr vindication. I shared with you in the very first introductory lesson on this concept, I've been saying for years and years that the motif of martyr vindication is one of the most important motifs related to eschatology, and yet it's often lost in discussions of eschatology. People want to talk about, the rapture. They want to talk about the Great Tribulation. They want to talk about the abomination of desolation. They want to talk about an awful lot of other issues. They want to talk about the destruction of heaven and earth. Well, one of the things that we really, really need to realize is that lying at the foundation, lying at the core of many, and you can almost say most, of the texts that deal with eschatology, there is in the contextual background the idea of martyr vindication. And thus, in Luke chapter 18, when Jesus told the parable of a widow in a city who approached an unjust judge who didn't respect God or man and said, "Avenge me on my adversary." And Jesus said, use the Greek word ekdekesis, translated as avenge. And this word is absolutely critical in the study of martyr vindication. And it's also fundamental to the doctrine of eschatology. That's because these are interrelated concepts. Now, what I want you to see here in this introductory lesson is that the doctrine of martyr vindication goes all the way back to Abel. In Genesis chapter 4 and verse 10, Cain has killed Abel. And Yahweh has come and he's asked Cain, "Where is your brother?" And of course Cain uttered the famous words, "How do I know? Am I my brother's keeper?" And the Lord said, "The blood of Abel, your brother, cries out to me from the ground." We find here a common concept, and that is the cry of the martyrs saying, "How long, O Lord? How long?" It's found in Psalms 13. As the oppressed, God's oppressed people cry out, "How long, O Lord?" What are they waiting for? What are they crying out for? Vindication, that promised ekdekesis. Now watch this. In Genesis chapter 4, we have the blood of Abel crying out. In Matthew chapter 23, as Jesus stood in the temple, Jesus spoke to those Jews at that time, and he said that upon you may come all of the righteous blood shed on the earth from righteous Abel unto Zacharias son of Barachias. What? The blood of Abel. Genesis 4, the blood of Abel. Skip forward all of these centuries, these millennia, until Jesus stands in the temple and says all of the blood of all the righteous from righteous Abel onward would be vindicated in his generation. Now watch this. Hebrews chapter 11. In Hebrews chapter 11, the writer gives us the great roll call of faith. But you see, it's not just a roll call of faith. These are martyrs. Because in Hebrews chapter 11, 25 and following, we are told, they hid in the caves. They were crucified. They were sawn asunder. They were stoned. These are the martyrs of God. Where does the countdown begin? From Abel. Do you see the common theme? So beginning with Abel, insofar as the Bible is concerned, the countdown of the martyrs of God begins with Abel. It marches through the Old Covenant, comes up to Jesus, saying and promising that the consummated vindication of all of the blood, of all of the righteous, all the way back to creation, would be when? Now watch this. All of the blood of all the righteous from righteous Abel. Where does Hebrews chapter 11 start? Starts with Abel. What were they looking for in Hebrews chapter 11? Well, they were looking for the heavenly fatherland, they were looking for the heavenly city, and they were looking for the resurrection. They hadn't yet received it. But when did Jesus say that all of those righteous martyrs, remember, Hebrews 11, all the way back to Abel, when did Jesus say they would be vindicated? Well, Matthew chapter 23. All of the blood of all of the righteous from righteous Abel onward. All of these things, Jesus said, will come upon this generation. He leaves no doubt about it. That means, listen to me very carefully, that means that the heavenly country land promised to Abel, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and all of those worthies, all of those martyrs of Hebrews chapter 11, that better resurrection that they were looking for was going to come, going to be given in Jesus' generation and the judgment of Jerusalem. It is absolutely astounding to me that in the commentaries this is virtually ignored. And yet it is clear, it's emphatic, it's explicit. Oh my, it is so powerful. All of the blood of all the righteous from Abel onward. Vindicated in Jesus' generation. Hey look, I developed this and a whole lot more in my book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air. This has one of the most extensive discussions about the relationship between Matthew 23 and Hebrews 11 and eschatology that you will find anywhere. I looked in the commentaries, and I could not find a similar discussion. This material will absolutely blow you away, and it'll answer a lot of your eschatological questions. Go to my website, eschatology.org, BibleProphecy.com. Order the book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air, The Wedding of the King of Kings. Mention that you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll refund your shipping. And not only that, I will send you a free copy of the presentation that I gave at Criswell College in Dallas, Texas in 2012. That lesson focused on the millennium and martyr vindication. Because you see, martyr vindication is the key to understanding eschatology and the key to understanding the millennium. So, order the book. Mention that you saw the offer on YouTube and Facebook. You get the book, free shipping, and a free copy of this presentation. Hey, thanks for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. We're going to begin a somewhat, not extensive, but somewhat of a march through the Old Testament, some of the key Old Testament texts that predicted the martyr vindication in the last days at the day of the Lord. This stuff's going to blow you away. So we'll see you on the flip side.